What has it been? It's been like an hour since you and I talked. Uh-oh, can you not hear me?
Sorry?
I said, what has it been, like an hour since we saw each other?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I got a few coffee. Yeah, around 1 hour, yes. Yeah, we like each other. Yeah, we talk chocolate a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, Chef, thank you for joining us on Chocolatier Chat. This has been a kind of a fun project for me. I've gotten to talk with some really great people in the chocolate industry, and we've been remiss to not talk to you for this long. So thank you for spending some time with us. Uh-oh.
No, it's a pleasure. I'm really here today.
So we were talking, so everybody else knows, Chef and I were talking a little bit earlier about some of his story, and I started by asking him how long he'd been in the United States. So we'll pick up right there. How long have you been in the United States, Chef?
13 years. Yeah, I arrived in 2007, exactly.
And you were telling me you came to, originally you were to open the Fontainebleau.
Yes, that's correct. I arrived from Mexico City to open the Fontainebleau in 2008, which is spending actually a few months before the opening and all the remodelation and putting everything together. It was a great experience.
But I mean, you've worked all over the world, right? I mean, you've been in the States for the last 13 years, but before that, you were in Mexico, and obviously you're French.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, I know. But no, yes, it's I was fortunate to be able to work in different countries and travel the world to see a lot of different things, teaching in different places, and working with especially on hospitality business for almost 20 years, which it was good.
Other than the United States and France, what's your favorite? Where's your favorite place that you've lived?
I like to be in the States, really, because I actually is the place where I'm living since actually a lot of time, 13 years. And I really like it. I mean, it's a country of opportunity, and if you work hard, I mean, you can really do something interesting. I like Mexico. I miss Mexico for the people, for the food as well, and I don't miss Mexico for the traffic, or not. But I think it's these two places, a part of France, of course, but these two places gave me a lot and gave me a lot of opportunities and grow and to learn a lot in my career and person.
Right. That's great. I mean, to be honest, you were in Mexico City, yes? Or no? Yeah. My Mexican experience is all like tourist Mexico. So, but everyone says Mexico City has great food.
Well, the food is great. It's a big city, which is in a big city like that. Yes, it's traffic is completely crazy and out of control because red light or green lights is the same. You pass anyway. Okay, I mean, but the food is great. The people are great. They are very, very hard worker. Sometimes they live 2 hours or 3 hours away and taking the Pesero on the small bus in the morning to go to work and spending sometimes 14 to 16 hours working in hospitality or restaurants. I mean, they are great people. The food is amazing. I mean, where everybody loves Mexican food, you can see that in the US everywhere. You have tacos and all the different things coming from Mexico. And fruit. I mean, after that, if you go on the beach, yes, it's a little bit different, like Cancun, like Los Cabos, Puerto Vallarta. The feeling is really different. The way to work is different. It's like working in Miami and working in Las Vegas or working in New York. I mean, it's different feeling anyway.
How's the chocolate in Mexico City?
Oh, But the chocolate produced in Mexico, I mean, everybody know the abuelita, which is a typical Mexican chocolate with spices and a lot of sugar inside. It's very, a part of all chocolate is very difficult to work with it, and for that it's a product coming from Mexico originally and born in Mexico. But now they are better. There's a lot of cocoa producer increasing the production and understanding better production. The quality of the product is different. There's a lot of very good chocolatier in Mexico, and the chocolate world is moving way more. I arrived in Mexico. It was 2002. And yes, it's the things are changing. There's great guys. There's a good friend, Luis Robledo, which is open his shop and several shop in Mexico City since years, 10 years, 12 years, and he's doing well and he's doing an amazing job.
But I mean, chocolate in North America has changed in the last 15 years, right? I mean, if you think about when you came into the States, there were a lot less people doing chocolate.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
There were a lot less people doing chocolate when you started doing chocolate. So I know part of the story. So you left the Fontainebleau and you went to the Bellagio, and you were at the Bellagio for a little while, and then decided to open JMA in Vegas. But even at that point, I mean, there were some big names doing chocolate that had been doing it for a long time, and there were some newer people, but there were a lot less artisan. There was a lot less artisan chocolate 7 years ago than there is today.
Absolutely. Well, that's completely true. Yes, it's a completely different scene right now on the business. There's way more people opening their own business, their shop, bringing also a lot of creativity and a lot of options in the market right now, which is. Before it was a little bit more classic. You had the molded bonbon, and with a little bit color. The color were arriving 15 years ago, and the color changing a little bit things, but not too many. And the product was more enrobe and or like a chocolate color. Right now we can see a lot of different creativity on the actually the molding side, all the different technique to mold and to have a different color effect. Fillings actually are changing a lot also, because now you see a little bit more finding even dessert flavor inside the bonbon, instead of before just staying on the ganache, on the praline, on the gianduja. There's a huge evolution, which is very good. After the creativity is great, innovation is great, and oblige the people to push themselves a little bit and not just sleeping on their recipe and just thinking that it's all done.
Yeah, I mean, I think about Instagram, right? I mean, the number. So I have my Instagram account, and then I work with the Tomric Instagram account, and the Tomric Instagram account is all chocolate, right? It's all chocolate people, or mine is chocolate people and some squash players. But anyway, it's another story. The sheer amount of like people giving information and showing what they're doing, and the creativity is overwhelming. Like you could spend hours and hours and hours just kind of seeing what's new in the world, right? Because it's not just in the United States, right, or not just North America, right? I mean, in fact, I just saw our guest in 2 weeks just came on, and she's from Denmark because she's created an environment where people from all over the world can take classes with her and learn from her, right? So I think when you started your business, you had your own little world, right? I mean, I think you did. I mean, there weren't a lot of chocolatiers in the Vegas area.
No.
There are now.
No. Yeah, well, yes, there's now. And yes, the world is changing, and it's always changing. Actually, now we go faster with all the social media, and I'm a terrible Instagram, Facebook user because I don't post almost nothing. But also I check what's going on, because it's the way actualize yourself and to see what the other people do. And there's always a good ideas and good design, good flavor profile that we can get from that. I think what is important is also to understand that the chocolate business, I think it's a production business, which is you need to produce something and you need to be rational also on the time you need to produce something, because you have technically to, at the end on the chocolate business, to make a decent amount of money, you have to be able to produce and to sell, because even at $2 a piece or $3 a piece doesn't pay the rent at the end if you sell just 10 of them. And that's the difficult part between the design and the creativity and the productivity.
Right, and I think you obviously have a pastry background, and we'll come back to that in a minute. And I have a pastry background too, where there's that gâteau might be beautiful, and that gâteau may cost $40, 30 euros, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the same story, that if you can't produce 20 of them and sell 20 of them at 40 euros or 30 euros, then you don't keep the doors open.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's always the challenge, right? When, I mean, I help with a lot of people that are new to the business and reminding people that you've got to make them.
Yeah, and that's it's really difficult, because I grew up as a pastry chef, I grew up as a chocolatier, and you always have the part in mind, the creativity, and said, well, you know what, I want to do what I want to do, and I want to create what I want to create, and everybody gonna be happy with that. But at the end, the customer decide what they want. And you have to compromise on different things. You have to also, when you have your own company, when you work for someone, you just follow the guidelines and you follow the what is necessary to do. But when you have your own business, you have to actually change your shirt and be also a responsible entrepreneur, because at the end, yes, it's true, you have to make money and pay the rent and be able to survive and to continue to grow your company. And this is what it is.
How hard was that to move from a big hotel where you were always busy? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you were responsible for controlling cost and labor. So I'm not saying it was easy, but moving to your own business where you're the one writing the check, was that a hard transition for you?
Big time, yes. Yeah. It is a hard transition. When you work in a casino environment, for example, and when they tell you money is not an issue and you can order whatever you want, and having your own business and counting the dollar amount to be able to buy the necessary machines at the beginning, and the ingredients, and not to stock too many things, and yes, it's a big transition. And also because when I opened my own business, it was 9 years ago, in 2011, 2012. I start with wholesale, which is, and my business is really wholesale, which is supplying hotels, resorts, airlines, whatever. And I opened it in February, and I think the first order I got, the first wholesale box of chocolate I sold, it was in July. Because you give a lot of samples, but nobody know you. They know you as a pastry chef, but they don't know you as a chocolatier and a supplier. And yeah, you have to be strong.
Right. Opening what I've described it to people, that opening the door for the first day is not the finish line. That's actually the starting line, right? Because that's where the real work starts, right? The real work starts to A, produce, B, get customers, and C, convince your customers to buy the product, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it's just the beginning, and at the beginning we don't understand everything. And it's a great opportunity to be your own boss, and you open your own business. It's something amazing. It's an amazing experience. But most of the time, if you've never been in business before, we don't understand the requirement. We don't understand all the logic behind all all the rules and what we have to put together. It's true. It's sometimes we think we go in the restaurants, we start to cook and we put that on the plate and everything is great. No, it's a bit different, but it's good. It's a learning curve. We call that a learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, I get asked a lot, why don't you do your own thing? And I think it takes, and I've said this to other people on this program, that it takes a lot of courage and a lot of belief in yourself to take that leap. And it takes money and it takes time and it takes all those things. I mean, I'm assuming you work now more than you did when you worked at the hotel, and you probably worked a lot in the hotel because we work a lot in hotels, right?
Yes, yeah, it's true. I work differently. I can reschedule my time based on what we have to do. Of course, that's different. Right now, after a few years, you understand a little bit better the business. I think it's just planning, it's just understanding, it's just to be open to changes as well, because my company right now is completely different than when I start, and even the vision of the company is completely different. And after the COVID, for example, or 9 months of COVID, we also have to adapt. We have to change completely everything, because for us, our customers, after when the COVID hit, well, we are in wholesale. We supply hotels, resorts, casino, airlines, which is everything was shut down, which is we have to rethink all the time. And this time it was a big time, but every single year we have to rethink and what we can do a little bit different.
Yeah. How has COVID been? I mean, obviously hard, but I mean, you're still there. The lights are still on above your head, so it hasn't been off. I mean, well, you haven't had to close the doors, but it's been hard. But how's it been really? I mean, you've recreated your business.
Yeah, it's been hard. It's been hard. When that happened in March, we from one day to another day, we lost 99% of the customer because everything was shutting down. Which is, we have to sit down a little bit and take the time to think what is necessary to do, what necessary changes need to be made to be able to survive. We're not talking about making money. We are talking about surviving and keeping the lights on. And with the few people here, and to try to brainstorm what's going to be the next step, where we need to invest, because we can, in my opinion, we cannot stay just waiting for the storm to end, and that's going to be better after. We have to think, okay, we need to invest on something and try to develop something to be able to keep going and continue. And it's what we did. We went in a little bit different direction in consumer packaged goods, looking for what is possible to do in consumer packaged goods, because we are a small manufacturing, but at the same time we have a certain capability to produce. And I think it started to pay off after a lot of hard work and a lot of changes. And sometimes changes are difficult, and we all want changes, but we don't like changes, and I think myself included.
Yeah, I think talking to a lot of people through COVID, right, which I've talked to, a chocolatier a week for the last 10 months pretty much, and everyone has a little different version of that story, right? But everybody's had to make changes one way or the other. Like, there are some people that are busier and there are some people that are less busy, but they're not the same. And businesses usually evolve over time. Yes, I mean, you're not the same company you were. Tomeric's not the same company we were 50 years ago, but we're very different than we were a year ago, right? We've been pretty much the same for 20 years. But COVID has caused us to change like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that it's happened for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. The word that everybody uses these days is pivot. And I'm tired of the word pivot. Right. I
hear that every single time.
I mean, and I don't want to go too deep. I mean, I was saying before that you and I spent a bunch of time together this week on Zoom, because you're working on a project that you wouldn't have worked on a year ago. Is that fair? I mean,
oh yeah, completely. Yes, it's that obliges us to find different avenue, and to be able to keep going, and also based on that, when we have to change different things in terms of productivity, in terms of sanitation, in terms of certifications, that's take a lot of time, take a lot of belief, take a lot of actually how we say that, faith maybe, because you go on something that you don't really know, and that obliges you, yes, to. For us, we had to go through different type of certification, from GMP certification to HACCP to SQF, having a person, a QA person inside the facility to make sure that the quality assurance it's actually following the guideline. I mean, it's amazing, but at the same time, it's a huge change on everything, on the way even we prepare chocolate.
Yeah, and something you left out of there. A lot of times it takes money too, right? I mean, in the midst of a storm, you sometimes got to double down, right? I mean, that's my Vegas reference for the day. You got to double down. I mean,
you have to, and you know, it's like most of all the companies that have been hit by the COVID. I mean, you have to invest, but also you're a little bit more deeper in debt, because most of the time, I mean, if you don't have the resources, you have to find a way to get these resources to keep going, and in this type of pandemic, yes, you end up a little bit more in debt, reset everything and start again. It's almost like starting a new business.
Right.
But it's good. I mean, when it's working and when you see a little bit the light at the end of the tunnel, I mean, it's great. It's make us better.
All right. So let's go back in time a little bit, pre-COVID. Yeah. So again, we were talking earlier today about your story, and you started in pastry. You know, most Americans I know, they're they go through school and then maybe they go to culinary school later, but obviously you're from France and you started earlier. You started in doing pastry, you told me, I think when you were 14?
Yes, that's correct.
Like, and that was the goal. How did you know pastry was the goal? Like, did mom go, Jean Marie, pastry, Francois, carpentry? I mean, how did you decide that pastry was what you wanted to do?
To be honest, I didn't know. I was interested, of course, with the food and the quality food, because my mom, she's an amazing cook. We always, I'm originally from a part of France where we have foie gras, we have duck confit, we have all different things like that, with specialties that I grew up with, and I think it's an amazing food. And I decided, because I said, you know what, it's something interesting. I've always been interested with food. I was cooking with my mom, and I said it's an opportunity also to travel. And I was thinking to travel because I wanted to see the world and see different things, even in France, even in Europe, around the world. And I started with that. I went to culinary school when I actually at 14. I did a stage for 2 months in a small restaurant, which was hard because it was an old chef, but it was a great experience. Amazing guy. And after I went to school to learn a savory, I was a cook. I mean, trying to be a cook, and I had the opportunity to go into pastry because it was another year to stay at the culinary school, which is I was not maybe ready to start to really work, but and I spent 1 year more in pastry, and it was great. I mean, it was an amazing experience. It was hard because we were working during the summer. We had the stage during the summer, during the 2 months, July and August, and all my friends at my age were actually going to the pool and things like that, to the beach, and we were working. But it was like that. And yes, after it start to work, and I went to Switzerland, to the German side of Switzerland when I was 18. It was my first job for 1 year in a concept of hotel, restaurants, casino, a little bit of dancer. It was great. I had to learn a little bit German, which it was a bit interesting. And after that, the real start was to work for Alain Ducasse. I went to Monte Carlo when the year we got the free Michelin star, and it was a change in my life. I mean, understanding the quality and attention to details count, and all the quality of the ingredients are actually the basic of an amazing product. That was good.
Are there restaurants in America that compare to Michelin-starred restaurants? I mean, I know there are Michelin-starred restaurants in the United States, but I mean, what everybody talks about Michelin stars, and I've been to a 1 Michelin-star restaurant. I've never eaten above a 1 star, and it knocks your socks off compared to, most restaurants I go to. I mean, how good is it? I mean, how good is Michelin-star? How as good is it working in a Michelin-star restaurant?
Yes, restaurants, they need to be for everybody, which is you have actually very, very good restaurants, and you're never going to have a Michelin star because they do an amazing cuisine, but they stay affordable for everybody, which is great. And the Michelin star, it's different. It's just a competition every day for the executive chef, for the pastry chef. It's a competition every day, and you cannot fail because there's a lot of consequences for that. And also because it's really a crazy world where you have to, in the time I was over there, we talk about 89, 90, and after, for the years after. I mean, you were working 14, 15 hours a day, almost every day sometimes, especially the weekend, of course, but and the pressure on you was huge. I mean, if you were actually missing something or doing something wrong, I mean, they were kicking your butt big time. I mean, they were not nice at all. Now the things change, of course. We more respectful, and there's a little bit more structure. People work less as well hours, which is it's a little bit different. The quality is still there, and in America, there's amazing restaurants here in the 3 Michelin star, 2 Michelin star, 1 Michelin star. It's different than Europe. I mean, they have amazing product. It's not only France or Italy or Spain. It's all around the world right now that they are able to do an amazing quality and giving you an amazing experience going to the restaurant.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about like fine dining and the history of fine dining, the future of fine dining, right?
Yeah.
Because I think you're right. Like the quality of food. I've been watching the show on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and it was David Chang's new show. I forget what it's called, Ugly Food or something. And he's good friends with the guy in Denmark, whose name I can't remember, right? Who's now opened a restaurant in Mexico, right? He's basically opened a taco shack in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and he treats the food exactly the same way at this taco shack in Mexico as he does in his Michelin-starred restaurant in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have Michelin stars, right? Because the tablecloths aren't right, all the trappings of fine dining. And whether I'm interested to see, I think we've been talking about COVID and what's going to change. I think fine dining is going to change a lot. I think people are going to realize they don't need it. They might want it every once in a while, but is it worth paying for if you can get the same food somewhere else? I don't know. It's just me kind of talking.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the fine dining and this type of restaurants are changing. We can see that the scene in Las Vegas, for example, right now, because of COVID and because of a lot of changes, it's difficult for the very high level restaurants and fine dining restaurants to survive, because most of the time, actually, this type of restaurants doesn't make a lot of money, and they have something on the side to make more money, like a bistro, different things, different options. And right now, I mean, people certainly don't want to spend maybe most of the time 2 hours or 3 hours in a fine dining restaurant. They want something a little bit faster. It's a lot of money to pay, sometimes $200, $300 the per person, and opening a very expensive wine. I mean, I think fine dining, they will still stay there. Of course, certainly less, because it's a celebration.
Right.
When you have a birthday, when you have a very specific celebration, it's really a place to go and to have a unique experience. But unfortunately, you cannot have this experience all the time because it's costing something, and because you don't have the time because you have to work.
Right, which would mean that, you know, places like Vegas or New York or Paris, right? I mean, places that people are celebrating more often, I think, will have success. But I think fine dining is definitely going to change. I mean, the restaurant business is changing, right? Food is going to change on the other side of this, no matter what. Food's just going to change. It's already changed. But I guess I don't know what's going to happen to fine dining. That's really my, you know, Chipotle is going to be okay.
Yes, they will. But you know, I think they still will do well, because I think the fine dining, it's like a locomotive. They are creating the trend. They are creating also, they have a huge creativity. They are amazing chefs and talented chefs working in there, and they are creating the trend, the next thing that actually they will use it on the different over restaurants that they are like more like regular restaurants, and because they saw something on the fine dining, and they try to adapt that in their restaurants in a large scale. And I think that's we need to keep these restaurants. We need to, because there's a tradition behind that. Right. There's a service. There's really something that it's unbelievable, and it's a memory after that. You go. I remember going in so many 2 Michelin stars and 3 Michelin stars restaurants in Europe and even in the US. You remember things, right, years after, 10 years, 20 years after. You remember, I said, you know what, I had that. At that time, it was amazing. They were on the top of the game. I mean, they were the first one to do that. And like, for example, the creme brulee actually, it started in a very high-end restaurant and fine dining, and then now creme brulee is maybe, with the tiramisu, the most popular dessert in the world.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to that end, I had dinner one night at the chef's table at the Inn at Little Washington. Mm-hmm. Which wasn't Michelin-Starred at the time, but it is now. I think it has 3 stars. And yeah, I mean, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me, right? I mean, and then chef sat down with us at the end of the meal, and, you know, it's one of those memories that I'm never going to lose.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a balance about figuring that out, is all I'm saying, you know. So, but
and
so let's go back. Oh, go
people
ahead.
Like food as well. People like when you want something, and you want something on the fly, and you can find a very good comfort food, and very good quality food without having to go to this type of restaurants. And that's it's also the beauty of the social media. Actually, people learn faster, are more willing, more open, and of course they open the concept, they open a restaurant, using sometimes some dishes from very, very high-end and fine dining restaurants, and putting them affordable for the people, for everybody, the customer.
Right.
That's good.
Let's loop back to chocolate.
Yes.
So right now, of the pieces you make, mm-hmm, what is your favorite in your case?
It's difficult. I like a little bit everything. That's the problem. But I'm very into praline anyway, because we are fortunate here. We prepare our own praline, the praline on site. We have all machines rebuilt, and we can do that. And for me, hazelnut praline, almond praline, it's really a winner. And when you add a little bit texture on it, a little bit crunchy, it's really a winner. And it's never going to change, because I really like that. I mean, for me, hazelnut and chocolate, it's the best. It's maybe too classic, maybe We have the nut allergy or things like that. I'm fortunate I don't have the nut allergy for me, and it's one of the best combination, and I love it. And when you see them in a display case, it's certainly the first one I grab. After that, I like caramel. I like the passion fruit on filling as well because it's refreshing, and there's so many flavor. The beauty of this kind of product, the chocolate product, it's you have something for every day, and all year long. That means with 365 days in a year, you're more willing to eat something maybe with fruity and a little bit acidity during the summer because it's warm, instead of the nuts during the winter, or the caramel, something spices during the winter because it's the time of the year. I mean, yeah, it's great.
Everybody's commenting that Lion Bar.
Yes.
Is that what's in the Lion Bar?
Oh, the Lion Bar. Oh, that's a big story on the Lion Bar. And I see Cecile, we work together. She put best Lion Bar. No, I didn't invent the Lion Bar because the Lion Bar, actually, I'm going to be in trouble with Nestle. In Europe, you find a bar, which is in every single gas station, which is called Lion Bar. It's like a lion mouth. When you open the bar, and it's a little bit Rice Krispie inside, or like a gaufrette, a little bit with caramel and milk chocolate.
Sounds good.
And I love it because every single time in Europe, and I was filling the tank of my car, I was buying one or two and eating them immediately. And when I opened the place here, I decided to do my own Lion Bar with a Rice Krispie treat, sea salt caramel, and hazelnut praline covered in milk chocolate, and a little bit also roasted hazelnut on the top. And I love it. They have to keep them away from me because I gain weight all the time. I mean, I can eat 3 or 4 per day, and I love it. I mean, it's something that's so simple, so easy to do because there's no secret or there's no, but it's light, which is the Rice Krispie, and that's the Rice Krispie treat. I learned that in America. When I arrived in America, I said, "What the hell is that?" And the melted marshmallow with the Rice Krispie. What the hell is that? Oh, what are we gonna get with that? And it's amazing because it's a very light texture and chewy and the crunchy. It's great. I mean, and at the end, there's Lion Bar. It's a product that I really enjoy. It's a pleasure.
So I think I know the answer to this question then. I ask everybody this question about what's your favorite mass market candy bar, because you can't get a Lion Bar in the US, right? If you're stuck in the gas station, you're going to buy a candy bar. What do you buy right now?
Twix.
But again, caramel, cookie.
Yeah,
chocolate.
And the left one, not the right.
Is the left one better?
No, I like Twix. I mean, it's simple. Yes, it's just a cookie and the caramel and the milk chocolate. I like a lot of industrial bar because despite of what we think, sometimes they do a great job. I mean, it's not easy to realize. It's not easy to for so many people to like it and to keep it consistent. I'm really amazed with the industrial because the consistency of the product is not the artisan product at a very, very high level, and you have such an experience, but in consistency.
Yeah. I mean, we know how hard chocolate is, right? I mean, chocolate can be hard, right?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of steps along the way where if we make a mistake, it's trash, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, from the beans to it going in a package, but you're right. I'm a Kit Kat guy. Like, I'll eat my weight in Kit Kat bars.
I love Kit Kat too.
They're always the same.
Yeah.
Like, and the Kit Kat bars in Europe are better than they are in the United States, and I can have that conversation, but I won't. But that Kit Kat bar is always the same. The temper is good. The proportion of biscuit to chocolate is the same. They look the same. They make the same noise. They're the same every time. You know,
And that's I like, for me, I like the bars, even Mars, even Milky Way, even things like that. I like it because it's even Reese, the peanut butter cup. I mean, it is good. You have moments for that. You have sometimes the time of the day, or when it's true, you go to the supermarket, you go to the pharmacy and you see that, you grab one. I mean, it's what I do, because you have of the day that you don't want just only have the handcrafted artisan chocolate, that you want to eat something on the fly. And most of the time for me it's something chocolate, but I enjoy it as well.
yeah, I have a Haribo problem too.
Oh yes.
Haribo cola bottles are my
Which one?
favorite. The cola
The
bottles. You know, I'm not allowed to buy them in duty free anymore because I'll eat the whole 2-pound bag on the flight to Europe.
the the crocodile Haribo, I love them. I mean, I grew up with that, and I was eating them because when you're kid, I mean, in my age when I was kid, you put the crocodile in your mouth and it's a little bit elastic, and you eat first the white part and after the gummy part. Yes.
They're building a Haribo plant in Wisconsin. They broke ground last month. So
Really?
they're building the largest plant that they have, I think, in the world, in the United States now.
That's good.
They're only going to make the gold bears though here. That's it. They're only going to make bears, nothing else.
No, right?
So
It's still good, but there's a lot of things in Haribo. Even what we call in French, in France, it was the strawberry, the fraise tagada. We call that fraise tagada, which is after that a lot of pastry chefs use that even to put in a ice cream, for example, ice cream fraise tagada melted inside. Oh, that's so good.
but I think they're a great example of consistency, right? Like if you turn a Haribo bag around, you can see where they're made. And in the United States in particular, they're not always sometimes they're from Turkey, and sometimes they're from Germany, and sometimes they're from other places. But they're the same, like
Yep.
every time, like the same.
That's amazing. It's why also we industrial have learned a lot from us artisan, because they learn the creativity and actually how to design product. But in the same time, we have to learn a lot from them to be consistent and to understand also how the product react. I mean, especially on the chocolate world, shelf life. I mean, we learned that from the industrial. We didn't design that ourselves. And it's great because it's bringing a little bit more safety as well on the product anyway.
Yeah. While we're thinking about innovation, I'm sure something along the way hasn't worked. Like, what's that one chocolate thing you thought was going to be great, and everybody looked at you like, no, this doesn't work?
Well, certainly a lot of them.
Just give me one.
Hey, you know what? I don't.
Mine was I tried to do something with durian. It didn't work.
Durian?
Yeah,
Oh.
Nobody was digging it. They were like, no,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
I think it's it's certainly complicated.
It
I
would have
don't
worked
know.
in Southeast Asia. If I was in Japan, if I was in like Thailand, it might have worked.
Yeah.
But in the United States, it didn't work.
Yeah, I think it's you know what? At a certain time, it was also. I remember when I was in France a long time ago. It was some people doing ganache with cheese, camembert, and things like that. And because it was trendy, and because everybody was talking about that, I tried one time to do that with the sticky cheese inside the ganache. Didn't work out very well. I mean, I like cheese. I like sticky cheese with a piece of bread. It's great, but yeah, in the chocolate ganache, it didn't work well. After that, the Parmesan cheese and a lot of cheese can work very well with chocolate and ganache, but this one didn't. And yeah, it was not so good. But I certainly I certainly tried a lot of things that I don't remember right now. It didn't work very very well with the chocolate and the filling that I wanted to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can't be afraid of the trash can, too, right?
Yeah, no,
I mean, we have to
we have to try.
keep trying things, right?
Oh, it's good. I mean, it's the way to do. You have to try, and some things gonna work, something won't work, but keep trying. I mean, it's
Right.
maybe that's better.
All right. So I know you are working on a huge project that you have to
Yes.
produce like, I don't know, 432 million items in the next like 2 days. But so I'm going to let you get back to work. But
Yes.
Chef, thank you very much for spending some time with us today. I really appreciate it. And I owe you one more email. I owe you some pictures, and I'll do it as soon as I'm done.
That sounds good. Yeah,
I'll
we have
text
to.
them to you.
No, thank you so much. It was great to be here. It's great. It's a very, very good thing that you do to be able to give to the chocolate people and pastry people, to talk a little bit about everything, not only just their craft, but a little bit everything. And it's interesting. It's interesting to exchange different ideas I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, this project, I'll be honest with you, like this project kind of started because I was trying to fill an afternoon, and it's been a lot of fun. Like I've got to meet some really great, I mean, we've known each other, but like I've
Yeah.
got to meet I've got to meet a lot of new people, and people that have been in the business a very long time, and people that have been in the business a very short amount of time. And what I appreciate about you and most of the people that I talk to is the amount of passion that you have for chocolate and food and all this stuff, and I think documenting that is really nice. So thank you very much for being a part of the project.
Thank you, Brian. It's a real
Cool.
pleasure. And we
Hey,
will
and
be.
I'm sure we're going to talk soon. Like,
No problem. Sure.
I'll definitely be here Monday. So if
All
there's
right.
anything you come up with over the weekend, or you can text me over the weekend, and we'll talk then. Okay. Thanks, Chef.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye,
Have a great
Brian.
weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.